Everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to do an update on the overall market and what to expect tomorrow. I'm also going to be doing an update on the stock that I've mentioned in the last video. All right, y'all, let's get right into it right off the bat. So what y'all see over here is Adobe stock, all right? And Adobe stock, that's the stocks that I've shared with y'all about 12 days ago in this video right here. This will go crazy, right? With a thumbnail and everything. I shared with y'all Adobe in that specific video. I told y'all that it will move all the way up to exactly $400. I thought it would move there a lot sooner. All right, again, the video was released 12 days ago. I thought it would get there at least by here. All right, but instead it took a sweet time dragging its feet and eventually made it up to $400. So congratulations to anybody who bought the stock, who bought the contracts on the stock and held throughout that time until $400. The stock did what it was supposed to do, and on that specific day it actually gave two chances to get out. The first chance to get out was right over here, just a 2-minute window, which is kind of ruthless compared to like every other stock in the market. All right, the second chance to get out was right over here in the afternoon around 398 before the stock took a dip down. All right, now with my trades, I ended up focusing on another stock on another sector actually, for good reasons. It had actually moved along with Adobe, so it's not like I missed out on a whole lot. Again, the moves were identical across the tech stocks, which is pretty much what I was looking at the most. All right, now let's go into the Discord. Again, the sector that I was really looking at, and it all started on Wednesday the 1st. AMD had earnings before that, and they showed this thing. And the game plan on that day was very simple. The game plan on that day was to trade AMD. All right, as you can see right here, they had earnings. It immediately broke out. It formed an ascending triangle, and the whole goal was to wait for this thing to break out above 79 so that I can go in with calls for the move up to $83. All right, so eventually it did just that. Let's look at AMD. All right, and it's not just AMD, it's the entire sector as a whole. I ended up getting calls around here. I was a little late because the opening kind of threw me off. I thought it would break out around like 11 a.m., like around over here somewhere, but it immediately ran out the gates in the opening minutes. All right, and I was a bit skeptical because I thought this right here was a fake out or a bull trap, but instead it pops, it drops, and then it goes back up again. All right, so I had to like really make sure before I ended up getting calls right here at 79. In hindsight, like if I didn't even look at the one, I would have had a better entry. This is why I don't like the 1-minute chart. Like it's not my favorite. I like looking at the bigger time frames. That way my perspective is not so, my perspective doesn't really change that much, right? So that's one tip for y'all. Look at the bigger scale. All right, like the 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 15-minute. The 1 minute can be the 1 minute can be very deceiving. So as you can see, AMD did its thing. It went all the way up to 83 when the meeting started, and then eventually later it went even higher than that. All right, so that was one stock that I ended up taking the trade on. The other stock was AMAT. All right, and the reason why, Applied Materials. The reason why I liked AMAT, again, this was after getting out of AMD in the morning. I like AMAT because it broke out above 116. All right, and I liked it because of the bigger picture. Let's look at AMAT. we're gonna look at the 1 hour, and this is the 1 hour. This is what I was waiting for. As soon as my alert, which I set at like 115.75, got hits, I was in with calls right here. All right, so ultimately most stocks ran. Jerome, the Fed put out an announcement about slowing the increase in interest rates, which the market really liked, and a lot of stocks ended up going on a massive tear. All right, so congratulations to anybody who was able to capitalize off of that move. Now, the last stock that I took a trade on, again, this is the video. I kind of botched this one because I was late. I didn't get in at the time that I should have got in. Me trading in the middle is really not a nothing good happens when I'm late to a trade. I don't like getting in the middle. I like going in right here to get out right here. All right, but this one I saw it way too late, and I just butchered that one, unfortunately. So that wasn't the video. Eventually it made it up. It's just it was just a whole mess. All right, but the one trade that the last trade that I took on Friday was this one. All right, it was NUE. As you can see, there was a bullish pennant right here. I was patiently waiting for this one to break out near the close, and when it broke out, it showed some strength. The volume was increasing nicely, and I immediately know, again, every time I see this, I immediately know where it should go. And if it doesn't move on that specific day, the odds are is that it's gonna either open up really high, hit the alert, and then sell off, or it's gonna open up at around the same price and then start climbing up really slow. All right, and as you can see on Friday, it opened up at the same price, and I was just holding those calls and patiently waiting for it to go all the way up here. I ended up selling half of my NUE over here. Yeah, I ended up selling at half of them 18 minutes after the market opened for a 40% profit, and I just held the rest for the move higher all the way up to around when it got close to 182. And at 182, the remaining contracts that I had was up 114%. And then I ended up getting out like at 9:32. Let's go into here. So this is NUE. All right. And I ended up getting out near the top. It didn't quite make it to 184, but the contracts were high enough and the indices were looking like they were going to roll over. So took my money here and I left the stock alone. Eventually everything started to roll over. All right, now what's going to happen next week? Where is the market going to go after such a massive week that we had last week? Let's see. Here is the Nasdaq, and I think that we're going to pull back a little bit. All right, and here is what I mean. So this is the 1 hour, and on the 1 hour, it's looking like a double top right here. You got one top at 12,900, followed by a test again at 12,800. All right, and one trend that we've been following throughout the entire month of January is a break of previous levels of resistance, which becomes new supports. All right, and a perfect example, I'm gonna share two stocks like that make really a lot of sense for y'all. So look at this section, right? We got this level of resistance, which became new support right here on the 31st. All right, and then it had a massive move up. Now what to expect next? What I expect, at least, is a drop down to 12,300 either tomorrow or on Tuesday. Kind of like what happened here is in this was a 2-day drop. All right, it happened over the weekend and it went all the way until Tuesday morning, right? And again, the same thing again is happening. This is the weekend, And I'm expecting something like this to happen throughout Monday and throughout Tuesday before we potentially bounce again. I'm not really sure if we're going to bounce on Tuesday. We have to see exactly how the markets behaves at that specific level. All right, so this is one example why this break and retest have been happening. Another one I'm gonna share with y'all AMD, that way it really makes sense to y'all. AMD was looking like this again, same thing right here, right there. Previous level of resistance becomes new support right here. All right, and then the same thing again happened with Amazon. Amazon was a little cleaner actually, and it was right over here. Yeah, right over here. We're gonna zoom in. Before this massive move happened, Amazon had this going on, right? Where we see the previous level of resistance becoming new support right here. And it's getting tested twice. Just that entire region at $99.99. Right over here before we see that massive push with the overall market. So the clues were there. All right, and this is what I'm expecting again for the Nasdaq for tomorrow, and that is the end of the video. Again, do not forget to annihilate the like button for the YouTube algorithm as always. Helps the channel a lot and it allows more people to get this knowledge as well. Also, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, definitely click on subscribe and click on the notification bell along with all notifications. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. If you haven't added me on social media yet, you can find me at NGumah, at PATTERNOLOGY LAB on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, if all of this is brand new to you, if you're interested in getting started in the stock market, there's some basic step-by-step directions in the description of the video below. Step 1 to step 3. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes for you to have all the tools you need to start trading immediately. You can also get some free stocks after signing up with Webull using the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is NGumah with PATTERNOLOGY LAB, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.